big thing that I've seen with couples too, and also with my partner. Just being there, that experience is fodder for weeks to come, months to come. Like what we saw, what we did, like that could be enough too. Just that we went to this erotic performance together. It's almost like you watched a porn together. You saw a hot scene in a movie, but you actually at a party experiencing it. You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. So have you ever been to a sex party? Are you curious about what goes down in one and if it's something you'd like to explore? Are they held in dungeons, upscale clubs, someone's house? There's a lot more interest in sex parties lately, so on today's episode, I'm talking Sex Parties 101. I'll go over the various types of parties out there, how to find them, and specific sex events you might be interested in, sex party etiquette, what you can expect when you walk in the door, how to interact with fellow attendees, and of course, what to wear. Intentions with Emily. For each episode, I want to start off by setting an intention for the show, and I encourage you to do the same. My intention is to give you some education on sex parties, and if you've never been before, they can understandably feel intimidating. But by the end of this episode, you'll have all the data you need to go exploring if you're curious or know that it's something that you'd better leave to your imagination. Please rate and review Sex with Emily wherever you listen to this show. My new articles, The 7 Secrets to Making Out and How to Have the Sexiest Spring Ever, is up at sexwithemily.com. Check out my YouTube channel, social media, and TikTok. It's all at Sex with Emily for more sex tips and advice. And if you want to ask me questions, do it. Leave me your questions or message me at sexwithemily.com/assemily or call my hotline 559-TALK-SEX or 559-825-5739. You can always include your name, your age, where you live, and how you listen to the show. And of course, you can change your name or choose to remain anonymous. Real quick, I'm coming out with a book, and I am so excited about this book. It's been 2 years. I've been working on it to bring it to all of you, and it can be in your hot hands. It's called Smart Sex, How to Boost Your Sex IQ and Own Your Pleasure, and it's coming out June 13th. You can pre-order the book right now, which is really important. I would just love if you all pre-order the book. It really helps with sales, get the book out there to more people. Pre-order it right now at sexwithemily.com. Just go to the drop-down menu, select new book, and it'll be easy from there. All right, everyone, enjoy this episode. By now, you've probably heard my magic wand story. It's a brand that's been part of my personal journey for more than 20 years. But no matter how many times I sing Magic Wand's praises, I'll never be able to fully capture the story of this incredible brand. Well, now journalist and author Kate Sloan just completed a limited audio series documenting the history and impact that Magic Wand has created over the last 56 years. It's called Making Magic, and the series chronicles Magic Wand's incredible brand story through interviews with nearly 40 experts, performers, business owners, educators, and fans. So I got a sneak preview of this series, and what I loved is that Kate weaves together snippets from all their interviews into this amazing story arc. She covers Magic Wand's journey from appliance store massager to its legendary influence on culture and sexual independence, and it's all just fascinating. The first episodes of Making Magic are available now at makingmagicseries.com or on all popular podcast platforms. Just search for Making Magic or visit makingmagicseries.com today. As sexual pleasure starts to become more normalized and celebrated, I'm getting more and more questions from all of you on a very hot topic, and that is sex parties. I think it's been a while since I have talked to you all about sex parties, what's happening, why they're happening. A lot of couples are looking to spice up their sex life. They want to fulfill fantasies. Maybe they want to find partners with similar sexual interest or kinks. And in some cases, or many cases, this is part of a consensual, non-monogamous lifestyle choice. Fun. So on today's episode, I'm going to demystify sex parties for you. So you can see if there's something you like to explore, or maybe you just have always wondered what actually happens at a sex party and what does that mean? And I'm going to share some of my own experiences. So before I get into that, I just want to give you a little background on sex parties. Because I think they're very misunderstood or they get a bad rap. So let's start with what a sex party is not. Now, when you think of sex parties, you probably think you walk in and you have to be naked or you drop your pants at the door. You walk into a room and there's a pile of naked bodies writhing around, orgies happening. And that's just, if you sign up for a sex party, you're going to have to jump into an orgy. And you're signing up for sex. You might not have, any say in the matter, but sex is going to happen. And that's not really the case. I have to say, parties that are done right, they're like very open, non-judgmental, shame-free environments where everybody's there for pleasure and to experience some really healthy sexual pleasure. I mean, think of it this way. It's much like going to a karaoke party, right? You get invited to a karaoke party and you know that you don't have to sing. No one's saying like you have to get up on stage. And you might just love going because you love watching other people sing their karaoke songs. Now, perhaps you're watching and you secretly have a song that you know you want to sing. Like, if I ever did it, I would do this song. And maybe you sit there thinking, and maybe you also are sitting there, maybe I will. Maybe I'll get enough courage and I'll get up there and sing. But you know that also if you don't, totally fine. And everyone had a good time. And sex parties feel the same way. You know you're all there with the possibility of sex happening, either around you, in front of you, with you. So that's the vibe of a sex party. Sex is going to happen, but there's no pressure. So a lot of sex parties are based on a more kink lifestyle. Finding a play partner to do a sex scene with or have sex with, or, maybe you're swapping or you're swinging, or if you're meeting other people there. The kind of sex parties I'm talking about have a process where you are vetting the list of people, you're looking at the applicants, you're making sure that everybody is there for consensual sex, that they follow by the rules. The rules are usually you ask before you touch. You have to be there with a partner that's also consenting. So usually these are places that you're really going to go there and everyone there is with the intent to get their needs met. And some are, could cost you $20 a ticket. Some are more exclusive at thousands of dollars a ticket. You could organize a sex party tonight in your living room if you want to. That would be called a sex party. Maybe invite your neighbors over and you all have sex. But again, I want to remind you that you don't have to have sex. You could just go in and watch with your partner, watch alone if they're allowing single people to come. Because a lot of these parties over the years, and again, they're always evolving. But the ones I went to or the ones I know about mostly are with couples and single women. Sorry, guys. But again, it's changing. Every town gets to decide what kind of sex party they have. But for many couples, they go just to watch and to not necessarily participate. And they might find that it's really huge turn on. And they're using it as dirty talk later in the bedroom. All right, so who's going to these sex parties? Well, they're not for everyone, really. And I'm in no way saying that every couple should go to a sex party. It's for couples who have excellent, healthy communication, meaning you talk about your emotions, your feelings, you deal with jealousy as it comes up, and you're in a place to really explore your sexuality together. That's the key. It's together. And you're looking to experience compersion, which is a term that describes couples that are really able to experience happiness for their partner when they experience pleasure. So your partner has a fantasy and you actually are in a state of compersion when you know your partner is getting their needs met. And it's okay if you're not the one giving. For example, your partner might have a fantasy that you don't feel comfortable fulfilling yourself. Maybe you're like, you know what? I never want to wear spandex. I never want to spank someone. I don't want to be tied up, but my partner wants to be tied up. Maybe you go to a party together and someone else can fill that fantasy. And since you love your partner and you care for your partner, you are happy they're getting that need met. What I love is that most people who are going to show up at a sex party are open-minded. They want to be in a judgment-free, safe space to explore and just experience sex in a different way. And there's many different types of sex parties, and I will get to how to find them shortly because I know you all want to know that. A lot of times sex parties are organized by a sex club or a sex toy store or an individual organization or groups of people. Sometimes there's annual or monthly memberships for sex clubs or a one-time fee. Some of them are called play parties, right? And play parties are a little bit more focused on the kink, BDSM lifestyle where you're going to see whipping and flogging and restraints and dungeons. Think of Eyes Wide Shut, 50 Shades of Grey. There's also cuddle parties, which have been around for almost 20 years. What I love about cuddle parties is you're going there to learn the skills that make touch safe and enjoyable without the pressure of sex. So you're learning boundaries and consent. Let's talk about less formal sex parties, if you will. Swinging parties. Swinging essentially means that couples get together and there's an expectation of partner swapping. And so swinging parties can be very informal. They can, like the key parties everyone talked about from the 70s. They can take place at someone's house where everyone puts their keys in a bowl. Then they select one and this will determine who they hook up with. I got the keys to your car. It means you might be having sex with that person that night. Or they could be more organized, expensive, like a swinger cruise or a lifestyle cruise. Different ways to find it, but you'll know when you see lifestyle that there's going to be some swinging happening. All right, so let's get into some of your questions. I know right now you're wondering, How do I find all these sex parties? Well, a lot of people are going to the apps and social networks, or it's word of mouth. I mean, I found out my first sex party years ago by talking to the people at Good Vibrations in San Francisco. So be sure to ask around to your local sex toy store. That would be a place to start. But some of the apps that people are going to, one is FetLife. FetLife is the OG social networking site for sex positive information, BDSM, kink, swinger. Great way to find local events in your area. There's also Feeld, F-E-E-L-D. It's an open-minded dating app for non-monogamy, polyamory, alternative relationships, casual sex, kink, etc. And then there's #Open. That's another dating app more explicitly focused on non-monogamy. They also have really fun virtual events from time to time. You can learn things like sex party etiquette. Okay, so I went to a really awesome sex party in LA. As I mentioned, there's a lot of different kinds of sex parties. This one was a little bit more exclusive. I'm going to get into it shortly with the founders, but when I got there, you walk in and what I love is you have to give up my phone. There's someone waiting there to take your phone. And my partner and I came, we were dressed. It was suggested that the men wear tux. So he was wearing a tux and I was wearing a really cool dress that I actually wore to the Podcast Hall of Fame Awards, which you can find on my Instagram from last year. But it was a really great dress. It was comfortable, but it was kind of like a combo bathing suit, lingerie, black formal dress, all in one. So we walk in and it's a really sexy vibe. It was the venue was a hotel lobby bar because they rented out a boutique hotel. So every room had a different theme, but overall it was very elegant, tastefully appointed with very sexual and sensual elements, and everyone was really welcoming and open, dressed in everything. I mean, you saw people in lingerie, in dresses, in costumes, in tux, sexy attire. And essentially it's whatever made them feel sexy. And I have to say, it was just really liberating and exciting to see people playing and finding pleasure in so many ways. And yes, there was sex happening. They rented out a boutique hotel for that purpose. So throughout the night, there were different rooms and you could walk by the rooms and the doors were left open to see kind of sex unfolding in different ways. There might be some couples, there might be individual people having sex, oral sex, just all different expressions. In fact, there was a sex toy room, which I found my way to, of course. And there was a woman riding a Sybian, which is a massive saddle of a horse, but the whole thing is a vibrator. And she was in the middle of bed and she was on the Sybian and there were some women around her. I don't know if they were friends or play partners, and they were showing her how to use it, and she rode it and she had this orgasm, and then she came off and she's turned to this woman, and after she's oh, hi, oh my God, I love your dress. Where'd you get that necklace from? So it was very casual, having sex to, you look great tonight. What's going on here? There wasn't a lot of really intense talk happening, but people were all there. This is where the sexually liberated people are coming to have pleasure. There was a room with more kinky gear, bondage gear. So there's a lot of different things happening. And also you look over when you get in and there's this man who's one of the leading shibari rope tying experts in the world. And he's beautifully has a woman on a bed and he is tying her in a really sensual, hot way. He's the expert. The way he's using the ropes for his pleasure and her pleasure is something I will never forget. I'm not sure I'll ever forget this night. So I thought I would peel back the curtain to bring you inside all of their sexual experiences. I'm going to be talking to Alina Ratuska. She's a creative director, event planner, designer. She's a stylist and founder of Rocka Chic. It's a fashion brand known for its elaborate theme events. Eyal Brickman is an entrepreneur and Alina's husband. He's founded several different companies, but now he focuses on Kinky Rabbit Club and men's sexual wellness. Oh, lastly, before we get into the interview, I mentioned one of my new favorite products for enhancing my sexual experience during the episode, and I just wanted to real quick tell you about it because I'm obsessed with it. It's Morgasm CBD Arousal Lubricant. It's CBD infused lube, 100% hypoallergenic, oil-free, and here's what I love. It is a 2-in-1. You get a lubricant and an arousal gel. It has all natural ingredients like L-arginine that increases blood flow and helps reduce inflammation because of the CBD. What I love is that it's dual action for penis and vulva owners. It can increase arousal for penis owners. You just rub it on the shaft all over the penis. And for vulva owners, it increases orgasm intensity and can help with dryness and pain and discomfort. I love Morgasm. Check it out. You can get 15% off Morgasm Lube if you use code Emily at morgasm.com/sexwithemily. That's MORGASM.com/sexwithemily. Just use code Emily and get 15% off. All right, everyone, let's get into the interview. What is Kinky Rabbit Club?
I always like to say it's Disneyland for adults. You like basically you come in and then you just have fun. Basically, we are a private members club
Yeah,
with a lot of amazing individuals.
very exclusive. We focus on exclusivity. This is the most important thing for us, for everyone to feel comfortable and feel that they can just do whatever they want around people that never gonna judge them, and basically like-minded people. Extremely exclusive. Everyone's keep asking me all the time, how can we get in? How can we get in? So this we're gonna continue. We're gonna talk about later, but.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because this is what your website says. An exclusive members club hosting a collection of unique kinky themed events throughout Los Angeles. Music, dance, erotic theater, immersive art becomes tools of seduction designed to transport you to a world of luxury and the ultimate indulgence, with your discretion in mind. Yeah. So that's what it is. It's a fun, people we call it like a sex party or a lifestyle event.
I feel like always like sex party is like a bad word, or swingers party. It's not the right word. Like a lot of people are afraid of this. Like they hear sex party or swingers. We're not really a swingers party, but
I mean, it's not a bad word. There are a lot of swingers parties, but we are not one of them. We've been to many in the past when we just met, and we just didn't feel comfortable. The energy and the vibe, but there are great people over there, and the swinger community have been around for centuries. But it's not us. It's definitely not us.
But they always have the same reputation. I feel like you come in, it's more like a dungeon type of feel. And like that's not what Kinky Rabbit Club is. We have a lot of different experiences. It's sometimes the vibes are darker and like mysterious. Other times it's more fun and disco and like can dance. So it's always it's like an adventure. You're always going like on like a journey.
Yeah, it's more of an experience that obviously at the end most of the people are gonna have sex, but it's more of an experience for people to come and enjoy. I call it like a long foreplay, which people kind of like tend to forget about foreplays and just go directly to sex, which makes it so boring, because what's the fun part about it? There's something before that people kind of get aroused and meet other people at the beginning. They not jump right away to have sex. They watch a show. We have the ambience around. They can have a drink. They can meet other people. And usually after midnight, which is the main show, most of the times there's like this, I would say it's a magic that everyone disappears and goes to the rooms and have fun. And then after they can go back, have a drink, then do it all over again, or even explore all kind of things or that Alina have in her mind. So it's not just jump into sex, because this is what we didn't like.
Yeah, the pressure. I didn't like the pressure when we were going to like other clubs where I was like felt like, oh, like everyone expects you to just get naked and like have sex right away. So this way, like you come in, you just like, you don't have to have anything. You don't have to have sex. You don't have to do anything. You just like watch the shows, have conversations, a drink, and that's it.
Yeah, and usually I was at the number of 3, which is usually takes around 3 parties for newbies to come in, watch everything. Then usually after the second party, they would probably gonna have sex, but in front of other people or next to others. And then the energy gonna start flowing. And the third party, you're gonna see him probably in the mix between so many naked bodies having a lot of fun.
But it's all about the energy. It's like, it's just the right vibe. We are very selective with the guests. We know who to invite, who fits and who doesn't.
What are the characteristics? Are there like 3 traits of a couple that should go? And then who are the couples that shouldn't go?
Couple who have a broken marriage definitely shouldn't go.
You know what? No, I wouldn't say that. I would say I would give them a chance to see, it depends how broken it is.
I think the most important thing is communication.
Yeah,
if you have a clear communication with your partner, so it's much easier to go to those type of parties. And back to the question that you asked about the application, is that we feel the dynamic between the couples, because it can be a time that a guy wants to come to those parties just to have sex with multiple women and just leave his wife or his girlfriend on the side. That's horrible. And it's always end up very bad. Yeah. So first of all, you can't be jealous. That's the first and foremost. Because we met some guys that even by some other couple were talking to his partner, they were so jealous. So that's obviously not going to work. There have to be some sort of communication between one another and understanding that, hey, we're going to explore. We don't have to do anything. I wouldn't say we have to come with rules because, like when we went to our first party, we said, "Oh, we have this rule and this rule and that rule." It was broken into.
I mean, main rules for sure. Like,
Yeah.
you know, no gangbangs on the first party.
Why not?
No gangbang. Gangbang is the third party.
No, you can whatever fits, whatever is okay between you two. You know?
No expectations. Just come, with open mind. And like I said, communication. If you don't have any communication with your partner, it's going to be very hard for you. And also very important is that explain your partner where you're going. Because we had a few cases that they didn't explain the partner exactly what it is.
But it wasn't really like they were not in a long relationship. We have we have some couples as well that are just like, I don't know, friends with benefits. No, like, not like long-term couples, or like they're just like friends. Yeah. And then, but they have a great connection. So it works too, so it really depends.
I talked to a couple there and they were wonderful. They just said that they had been married for like 20 years. They have kids and they were very communicative, and they realized their sex had kind of flatlined. It just wasn't as exciting anymore. And they talked a lot about it, and they said it just kind of really sparked their sex life. They were reinvigorated. What I loved is that I wasn't sitting around there interviewing people. I was actually having a good time. But when I did talk to them, they were saying that they, that they both kind of figured out, like she was more into playing with other men and he just kind of wanted to watch, and he wasn't really doing anything, but it was more for her. And then there was other couples that she wanted to be with men, he wanted to be with women, but then sometimes they were together, but then they had to like talk about it ahead of time. So there's all these different iterations of couples that come there. And that's why you can't have rules, and you might not even know until you go.
Yeah.
Because I think once you peel back the layers of like what's right and what's wrong and what society says, then these kind of clubs gives people the opportunity to kind of figure it out when they get there, even if they don't know, or if they even have a hunch, right, of what might be hot for them. So you've probably heard some,
millions.
What couples have let you know.
Many stories. Yeah. The same stories of like what you heard, that we have so many couples that started, been together for so many years, and life became, reality, that everyone's like work and regular life, less sex. And even we few couples that wanted to separate, and then they came to our clubs and they just kind of like fell in love with each other again. And they didn't even do much at the club, but they just fell in love with each other because they felt so strong even coming to this kind of club.
I want to get more into the member experience after that, like what it is for couples. But let's just talk about the do and don'ts. Like, what's the general etiquette?
Well, number one, be respectful. Always ask before anything. Just like communication, right?
Yeah.
Like
communicate better with your partner and with others. That's a very important thing. Obviously, we very big on privacy. So it's kind of like Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club outside, because, there are some people that just don't want, because they're afraid of the society norms and so on. So we really like to keep it between each other. And that's why we hardly talking to people outside about our club and everything. Obviously, we're never gonna expose any names or anything like that, because we respect everyone the same as they respect us.
Yeah, we take the phones, so it's like
no phones at there.
To me, that was an incredible experience to go there and not have my phone. So I was like, okay, well, what about privacy and all that? Like, people really are there too. Like, if they get through the layers, they jump through the hoops, they get into the club, you guys have vetted them. It's like, so you already feel safe. But then to not have your phone for a few hours, first off, I wish I could do that on a daily basis, not be with my phone. But to be at a party like this and to not have your phone is so, so liberating. That's another layer of people feeling free and being open. I'd love to know now, like, more about the relationships, because I think, okay, people are like, oh my God, I want to go to this. Like, I think this really is a fantasy. I've been in this world for so long. So I'm thinking, like, what I was asking people, I was like, what would you want to know? And most people were saying, like, I want to know what happens and the sex happens. And a lot of people think, like, I could never do that. I'd be so jealous. My partner would never let me go. Is it just an excuse for couples to go bang other people, right? So if you could tell me, and maybe yes, with consent. So what do couples get out of this gathering? And then we could talk about what singles get out of it. But let's talk about couples. Like, I kind of shared one experience, and I have a hunch, right? Maybe you could share what you've observed over the years and what people tell you that they get out of it. The couples who get in the door, who become members.
Well, for number one, stronger connection, I feel like, right?
Yeah. Right when you enter the door, you feel so strong and empowered with your couple that you made this move to go to something like that. That's the first thing. And then you explore together a lot of things, because majority of the people that comes to our party, they don't live in, the outer world, that it's based on a lot of lies and people divorce, and cheating on one another in our community, in our world. You don't need that. You're basically very open with one another, and that makes the relationship so strong. And that's why, like I said before, we have couples that started in when they joined the club, they started so a little bit separated in a way because of the so many years they have been together, and you see how they evolve and learned a lot about one another and became so strong with one another that they just waiting to come back to the club and they don't go anywhere else. So that makes us very happy. Basically, that's what we're aiming for. Like, think that you go to a club and you have, I would say 90% of the people are so in line with your energy and your vibe and hugging and kissing. It's not just about sex. The sex is just, like something that you obviously that you want to explore and everything, but it's not just sex. It's connection between people. It's like you said, no phones.
Not just couples, even like you say, people. It's connection.
Let's talk about it. The other people, the performers. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Single men. Can single men go?
Single men are not allowed. The only ones that are allowed in a way, it's the people who obviously perform with us. So we know them in advance, but we don't allow single guys because we've been to other clubs before and we saw that it doesn't fit yet. Maybe in the future, who knows? But it just don't fit. The energy doesn't fit. And for single ladies, I found, because I talked to a lot of the single ladies, and I always ask them, why are you coming here? Like, what's your expectations? What do you want to get from coming here? And all of them unanimously say that they just feel so powerful here and they feel so safe to do whatever they want. There's something
without being judged.
Yeah, there's something in the society that a woman can't be sexual and can't be, can be open about her sexuality. So when the girls come to a club, they feel so strong and so powerful. They are the one who in control, much more than the guys or the couples over there, actually. So that's great. That's what we always like to hear, and we always tell them, just come, explore, enjoy, do whatever you want. No one's gonna judge.
All right, I hate to interrupt because I'm sure you're all at the edges of your seat right now. But we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and then we'll be right back to the interview. I would love to talk about some of the relationship dynamics that you see there. Swinging, I guess, is a type. Swinging is when couples kind of swap, or people are open, or they're only with women, or they're only with men, or they're only with trans people. I mean, I think everyone gets to decide, but are there common dynamics what do you see, or what could be, are there certain genres that we haven't covered?
We do get a lot of couples that would like to play with other girls.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like in the middle of couples who like to play with other girls and the couples who like to play with other couples.
Yeah.
We do have some that he likes to see her with other guys, and it makes him so powerful because he see her basically having fun, which is, I don't see anything bad about it. It's amazing.
It takes a strong guy to
very
to
strong.
do this.
Very strong. Not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's this judgment of, I don't know, the shame or judgment or anything like that. But if you think about it, you basically looking at the person who you really love having fun. What's so bad about it? But it's society that drilled down with us when we were born. But yeah, it's kind of like in between couples who play with couples and couples who play with girls, or even couples just like to play with one another and to have others watching them, voyeurs on the one side or exhibitionists on the other side.
It is a big thing that I've seen with couples too. And also with my partner, just being there, that experience is fodder for weeks to come, months to come. Like what we saw, what we did, like that could be enough too. Just that we went to this erotic performance together. It's almost like you watched a porn together. You saw a hot scene in a movie, but you actually at a party experiencing it. And it does sort of enhance intimacy, can bring couples together. But what are the common fantasies that come up for couples? Is there anything you read on every application, like 9 out of 10?
Oh yeah, there is actually. Yeah, there is. It's a lot of them are light BDSM, so it goes hand to hand with 50 Shades of Grey. That's because it was so famous, the book was so famous, so it goes hand to hand with what we see on the kinks and the fetishism. A lot of light BDSM. Women's like rape scenes, which is very, very strange.
Yes.
That was very strange for me. And on the other side,
consensual, non-consensual sex.
And the guys wants to be the dominant, of course. So it basically goes into it with what feminine and masculine energy are. So we see that a lot. Other than that, yeah, we have people that like DP. I don't know.
Nothing too crazy. No,
I mean, what's crazy?
Yeah, exactly. What's crazy?
But that's the thing. I'm not even going to ask you. People wanted me to ask, like, what's the craziest thing you saw? I'm like, I don't love when people ask me, what's the craziest question you've ever gotten? And the most outrageous. I'm like, nothing is even, because it's all okay. So I don't see it that way. Well, it's the taboo, right? Well, nothing's taboo. I guess bringing in things that we would never, that we hold so sacred.
As long as it's under consent,
Yeah.
As long as it's with respect and with consent for one another, there's no one who is actually get offended or anything like that. They see it in a very fun way and experience. And that's eventually, I think, what we're here for. We're here to experience things in life. We're not here to wake up every morning, go to work, and come back and buy stuff. We're here to experience things, especially with their loved ones or single ladies who just want to experience something that they would never experience outside when they're going to go to any regular party. So
yeah, and it's all a theater. Like life is a
theater.
It's true.
It should be. It should be more so. Also, what I loved, there was also, because I was talking about sex toys, there was like a room with like sex toys that were sanitary and lubes and condoms and all that. And I did mention that next time I want to bring some lube for everybody. I think I gave you guys some to try, but then there's this other one that I love. It's called Morgasm. I might bring it to you as a surprise. It's an arousal lube and you rub it on. It's like a little fun prop that when you put it on your body, it starts to arouse and like tingle like your clitoris, your penis. Have you ever used any of those?
Some of the guests, you can
lube them.
Can I?
Lube them.
Can I lube people? I'm going to come. It's kind of like when you go to Burning Man and everyone has their value. Like, I'm just going to rub some arousal gel on everybody. It's called Morgasm. It's a very cool experience. I love that it's judgment free too. I think that people can partake without feeling the pressure. What advice would you give to people who want to dip their toe into this world, but they're not quite ready for a party yet?
I can say that when we started all this years ago, when we just met, when we met, we started talking about it, and there was not too many options out there. I can definitely say that when Alina started her world, to create in this world, slowly, we start seeing so many small, but like I said, swingers club. They're very hardcore swingers club. There's a lot of dating apps that fit exactly to that narrative. But there are a lot of apps out there. You can just search it. It's very easy. And and there's a lot of small local parties that you can just go and see what's going on. Obviously, you don't have to do anything anywhere.
But you don't have to.
No,
it isn't for everybody. And that's what I want to say is it isn't for everybody, right? This isn't. We're not saying it, but I want people I guess the reason why I'm bringing this to people is I want people to have options. I want them to know that if there's possibilities for you to expand your intimacy and to connect on a deeper level with a partner, and just know that there's opportunities for it. But by no way is it for everybody. There's some people who can't even get past jealousy.
Jealousy, no good relationship between one another. It's not for everyone, obviously.
But and on the other side, though, if people just want to come have fun and explore and again, they don't need to do anything. So just come and have a drink, have fun, enjoy the music,
and watch live other people having sex and having fun.
Right. You don't have to do anything, which I love that there was like a low pressure environment just to experience and to really just kind of go into your own experience of sensuality and eroticism and turn-ons. If anything, you leave with just great fodder for discovering yourself. It's really great work you're doing. And I think it's important. And I just love people to say, even if people aren't ready to go to a party, tonight, after you're listening to this, talk to your partner about just what do you think about that? Would that be hot? Maybe you could find some porn that shows people at a party, right? I always tell people before they jump in having a threesome or swinging, dirty talk it to each other, watch a porn, find an erotic scene that you can think about. Now, how did that make us feel? And so it's a journey, right? I don't think people have to go, even at your parties, people aren't coming and they're learning and they're coming for a few times and they're experiencing it.
The funny thing is, it's really like Fight Club. When you go out, when you're part of this community, you just know who is part of it and who is not. It's so magical.
It is.
So this is something that we really like. Yeah, you just see it.
I love that you exist. I think it's really unique. It's really special. I'm just grateful to know both of you. So thanks for bringing me on for the journey and sharing this with everybody. I want to ask you guys real quick before we go. I have to ask you the 5 quickie questions we ask all of our guests, okay? They're very quick. And you can each answer. You can go back and forth. Just like 1 word or 2 words. What's your biggest turn on?
Alina.
Elena, go.
Wow. I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, you're good.
See?
That's why.
What about
That's why I
Elena?
love
What's your
No
question?
matter how much I'm in this world, and a lot of guys tell me, "Oh, you're such a lucky guy." She's the one who turned me on the most. No matter when, and even when she was obviously pregnant, even she's like on the worst day of her life, she always turned me on.
Elena, what's your biggest turn on?
Well, I have to say, yeah. No.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay, what's your biggest turn off?
Turn off? I never thought about it, but it has to be quick. You have to do quick. Like, say
I would say that that lies are my biggest turn off. I hate people who lie.
What makes good sex?
That's a question?
Yeah, it's a question.
Communication. Just dirty talk communication.
Dirty talk, communication. This is good. Do it together. Something you would tell your younger self about sex and relationships.
I mean,
just go and fuck.
I'm very lucky that I started in a very young age, so I explored so many, especially older women's, when I was very young. So they taught me basically, I would say, just respect and love, and do it from love. Don't do it from sex. Sex is so easy. You can have sex. I can have sex with myself right now, but
not
do
just
it
all
with
love, but also have experience, have fun, like
but with like something inside, not just to come and have sex. It's so boring.
Yeah.
How many
just do it for the feeling, do it for the
yeah.
Well, that's really what you guys are creating. You're creating an erotic experience. So everyone can have like pound away and have sex, but this is a much different experience.
Don't waste your orgasm just like that. That's what I'm saying.
Final question: what's the number one thing you wish everyone knew about sex?
It's actually fun, and everyone's doing it.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Everyone's doing sex. I have to say, everyone in their life had sex.
I love it. I mean, think about it. It's like restaurants. Like everyone eats. So you guys are creating.
Exactly.
Everyone has sex. Everyone eats. Like you're creating another take on sex. Like it's another way to experience this beautiful thing that everyone experiences anyway.
Yeah.
You have a different menu.
Very kinky menu.
And I love it. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode. See you on Friday. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Be sure to like, subscribe, and give us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, and share this with a friend or partner. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sex with Emily. Oh, I've been told I give really good email. So sign up at sexwithemily.com. And while you're there, check out my free guides and articles for more ways to prioritize your pleasure. If you'd like to ask me about your sex life, dating, or relationships, call my hotline, 559-TALK-SEX. That's 559-825-5739. Or go to sexwithemily.com/askemily. Special thanks to Acast for powering the Sex with Emily podcast. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.